welcome everybody. My name is Gregory Arlt. I am the Director of Makeup Artistry for MAC here in Los Angeles, California. I don't feel like I'm in LA today because it's been really, really gray all day. So it's like, you know, we look forward to those kind of days. And I know you didn't come here to talk about the weather. You probably came to let me know that you noticed something a little different about me today. And it's that I have food in my teeth, don't I? No, it's because I have blue hair, because it's going to tie into my Halloween tutorial today. So I am basically, I've been with MAC for 27 years. I started when I was 14. No, I was in my early 20s, and it's been such an incredible ride. And as the Director of Makeup Artistry based here in Los Angeles, I work a lot with celebrity, red carpet, but I have always had a great love for theatrical makeup. I'm a child of the 80s. Not the 1880s, but the 1980s. And I grew up listening to like Boy George and Duran Duran and Nina Hagen, Susie and the Banshees. The more colorful and theatrical the makeup was, the more I was here for it. So I've always had a real propensity to do something that was a little bit more, again, sort of theatrical, glamorous. And Halloween has always been a national holiday for me in my house. I look forward to it. I love it. It's one of my favorite times of year. My boyfriend John and I go really, really big when it comes to Halloween. And one of the things that we've always really been into is this kind of vibe, what we're calling the glam dandy. Now, anyone can do this look. I mean, it really is just a very sort of, I'm calling it the elevated version of myself, or the version of me that I wish I were every single day. And it really is a lot about lining and defining, lashes, color, just throwing it all on, but in a really, hopefully, palatable way. So if you have any questions at all, no question is a bad question except for my age. And to that I say I'm somewhere between Botox and death. But if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to put it in the chat box so everyone can see. You can do the Q&A. I have to introduce my very, very lovely and incredible moderator, who's a very dear friend of mine, Tiffany Johnston. Say hi, Tiffany. Tiffany, can you hear me? This is where it's always like a seance.
I typed it. I was like, hi.
Oh, hi. It's like a seance. Perfect for Halloween. Tiffany, can you hear me? Are you with us? Tiffany, say something if you can hear it. No.
I'm moving the candle.
Right. The Zoom seance. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, I am literally naked from the neck up. I'm in a very vulnerable place right now because I do wear makeup pretty much every single day of my life. I enjoy the ritual of makeup, and I have never been more camera ready in a pandemic at home in my life because of social media, etc. So I always like to start, I'm going to just kind of really do this in real time. Again, if you have any questions, please ask. I always start with a little bit of Fix Plus and just get my face nice and hydrated because it really does prep the skin. My skin is pretty normal to oily, but I do get a little dehydrated in areas, so I want the makeup to look perfect. I am just literally going to dive right in. And, you know, sometimes for Halloween, I really will do like a skin tint to kind of make my skin like do a little bit of a mint color. But I thought today I want to go a little bit more pale because I want it to be the perfect backdrop. Like you see the white is behind me and you can really see the blue pop. I want the makeup to pop. So I'm going to go very, very pale with my foundation. How I do that is I use the Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation. It's all in the name, okay? So Longwear waterproof. So that's exactly what I would need for Halloween. And this is what I mean, it's a good everyday foundation as well. But for me, if I'm going to a party, I want this to stay on and look camera ready. Now I use a lot. I'm not, okay? And then it's all about blending. Blend is your friend. So one of my favorite brushes to blend with foundation in a hurry is the number 170. This comes actually in a standard length handle, but I'm using this little promotional one that we did with a launch that we had a couple months ago. And I'm just gonna blend this all together to really get that just perfectly even mix of the two colors. And here we go. And I'm gonna be looking over here a little bit because that's where my mirror is, but I'll try to cheat back and forth so you guys can see what I'm doing, okay? For those of you just joining, welcome, hello. So nice of you to be here. And this is where we just go for it, okay? The motion that I'm using, it's kind of a stipple, like a stippling into the skin, because I really want it to be in part of my skin and look really, really flawless. And I don't want brush strokes. So that's why I like this brush. And as you can see, I'm gonna avoid my beard. That will be tended to in a little bit, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this all over. I always like to start with foundation. I know there's a lot of artists that go the opposite direction and they actually start with their eyes or what have you, because in case there's any fallout, etc. I like to see a blank slate. I like a blank canvas. So I am going to move my hair that got in the way. And I'm just going right over my eyebrows. So I have like about 5 brow hairs, literally on both sides. So I fill them in every day since I'm 15. So like the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 years. And because they're so sparse, I don't really need to do brow cover when I do my Halloween looks. I have done brow cover. I opted not to today because I wanted to actually use my own eyebrow shape for this look. So I'm just kind of going back into my hand a little bit. And you can see that it really does give excellent coverage. And around my nose, I'm just going to press it in, bottom of the nose. I will come in with a beauty blender as well. But like I said, I work fast. Time is money. And every Halloween, of course, we do spend quite a bit of our time on our makeup and our looks. I mean, my boyfriend, John, literally spends about 2 months making our costumes from scratch. And I usually, you know, we collaborate on a makeup design and we take about it. We literally give ourselves about 5 to 6 hours to get ready for Halloween. But I find with my makeup, it's pretty quick, believe it or not. And I'm going to get all the way up to the hairline, and I'm going to use a smaller brush to really get into those little hard to reach places. The fun part where I look sort of truly erased. And as you can see, I really don't need concealer, but I'm going to use concealer, believe it or not, just in certain areas. Now then, if you at home also have a finger wave that you need to work around, a couple ways you can do that. So what I like to do is then switch to a number 252 brush. Not that one, because that one's dirty. Oops. Let's try this one. This is the clean one. It's funny. Does anyone out there watch Rachel Ray? Like, I love watching her cooking show. And one thing I really learned is that she has a bowl, an empty bowl on her counter that's her trash bowl, like for peels and, you know, chopped vegetables and all that kind of stuff. I have an empty mug for my dirty brushes. For some reason, that one did not make it in. So what I'm going to do is take a small amount of the foundation and blend it. There's still a little white face and body over there, and just kind of get into this area. I will probably lift the hair a little just to get in the little fine details in here. Now, if this were actual Halloween, I would do my ears, I would do my neck. I'm going to leave that out for today and just focus on the face. But if you go onto my Instagram, which is at Gregory Arlt, you will always see me posting pictures from Halloween, full costume and everything. Sorry, there's another little hair here. Let me just like get it out of the way. There we go. So now I'm just going around the wave and a little under it. It's hard to touch it because, you know, it's sprayed, but we are going to get in there. This is the fine detail part. Blending that all in. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves already. And Tiffany, let me know if I'm going too quickly because she is graciously moderating for me and writing everything in. So now that I have done pretty much almost my whole face, I am going to give this a little lift. Go right underneath. Lift that little wave. Sorry, you can't see. There we go. Big news. the wave lifts. Okay, there we go. And I may or may not have put a little hint of turquoise glitter in my hair. I can't confirm or deny. So one more pass, believe it or not. This is the part I'm gonna go quickly with. A little hint more face and body. I'm just gonna go a little more over my eyes and forehead because I see a couple little areas peeking through. So again, Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation. The color is NW12. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for putting that into the chat box. Makes my job and life easier. Thank you. And then a little white face and body. So I'm just gonna mix those two together. And again, just really press it over my eyes because this is where all the magic is going to happen. Okay, so I'm just pressing this in. And then we're gonna get into some highlight before I set it with powder. So what I like to use to highlight is actually cream products for the underbelly of this makeup, right? So basically, I like to use a bit of concealer. I use a very, very the lightest color, W10, which is in our Studio Finish palette here. And the W10, sorry about that little glare, it's this color here, which looks like it's kind of dark, but I'm gonna mix it with another product. So here's the highlight coming, just blending, because I want to make sure it looks effective and smooth. And then I'm not going to worry about my sponge just yet. So what I'll do is now introduce literally this is my best friend at Halloween, the paint stick palette from Pro. Say that 5 times fast. The Pro paint stick palette. And we also sell the paint sticks individually as well. I like having all of my colors sort of in one place. And I'm gonna now take, let me see. This is the fun part. You should literally see my desk. It looks like a Mac store exploded, but I try to keep everything as in order as possible. So I'm gonna take a bit of the W10, actually it's on this side, with my number 252 brush. Okay, so just pick it up. And I'm gonna use kind of both sides of the brush. And then I'm gonna take the W10 and I'm gonna just put it right over my brow bone. This is almost creating the brow shape I want in a negative space, okay? So, because I like a little lift. I mean, who doesn't want their eyes to look a little bigger, right? So I like a little lift. And so then I take the W10 and I'm gonna mix a tiny hint of the white paint stick into it. Because as you all know, whenever you highlight something, it stands out. And whenever you contour something, it recedes. So I'm giving it this shape. That's the actual, my brow is gonna be over that shape. So a little on the other side too, and by a little I mean the exact same amount. That's why I did the other side of the brush. So again, a little bit of concealer, W10 mixed with the white paint stick, and just tapping it in because I really want that product to become one with the foundation. It's very zen. So a bit of highlight, I'm just gonna try to move around a little bit so you can kind of see in the light. Spoiler alert, I have a big ring light on me and also a small one so you can see as much as possible. And then the creepy part is to take the concealer into this area. I say the creepy part because it looks really weird for a while. And then what I'm gonna do is I'll take it just around the nose, and just to kind of give my eyes a little burst of light, I'll take a bit more of the W10, a drop of the white paint stick palette, and go under my eyes, both sides. Then this is where I pull out my beauty blender. You gotta have a beauty blender. I love the beauty blender. It literally is like an extension of my hand. Okay, so I use the black one, and then I'm gonna take, this is where it looks creepy. I'm gonna take the foundation that's left on the brush and go over my mouth, because my lips, I'm gonna totally do a whole different shape. So it looks not, it looks ugly until it looks pretty. So, you know, I'm just making my lips disappear, smoothing out over my eyes, and then I'm blending that concealer and highlighter, just tapping it with the same brush. And I have my beauty blender in my hand ready to go. Boom. And then just kind of smooth out any creases, because not as young as I once was. I was like, why wasn't I doing this makeup when I was like, you know, 18? But you know what? It's never too late to look and feel creative, right? Blending that all in, going over the lids as well. And I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves so far. What is next? I'm gonna blend that in a little bit more. And then I'm gonna set it with powder, because it's time to do that. I forgot one thing. I am going to do a bit of highlight down the center of my nose. And for that, I'm using a number 263 brush with white paint stick, okay? And it's a little bit of a skinnier brush for the shape that I wanna do. So it's almost like I'm making two lines, like to make it kind of wide. I don't want my nose to look too skinny. I just want it to look like it's highlighted nicely. And then a bit here right on the end. You know, that little drag exclamation point. And then I'm gonna take my 252 again, and one more little hint of white paint stick. And there's still a bit of concealer on it to get that shape that I wanted, like I said, just to make sure before I powder. And I'm gonna try something a little different right now, because without risk, there's no reward, right? And I know you guys out here watching are all my peeps, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. And I hope you guys are, you know, enjoying yourselves and learning something, and, you know, support me through my time of trial, because I usually do blush after I powder. But what I thought would be kind of interesting would be to take, because I'm gonna do a very magenta blush, I'm gonna mix the processed magenta with a little bit of white paint stick with a number 190 brush. And then I'm gonna use that on my hand because it's very, very bright. So I'm gonna take a bit of white because I want it to be a really beautiful, like sort of a rosy stain. And that is the perfect shade. That's exactly where I wanted it. And I'm gonna use it right here. And I'm gonna go over that with powder too, but sometimes I really like to do a cream underneath powder at times, because it really makes the product last longer. And other side too, it's just a stain. But the look that I'm gonna be doing for blush is gonna be more up here, very doll-like. I like that sort of, you know, dandy doll vibe. And I remember once a friend of mine years ago, because I've always kind of done a look like this. I would always be what I call a glampire for Halloween. And I remember I have a friend whose mother is English and she's very dramatic. And I remember walking in at Halloween, she goes, "Oh, you look like an expensive doll." And I was like, goals. I want to look like an expensive doll for the rest of my life. So I've always really tried to kind of channel that vibe. So now that everything is pretty much in a good place, as a one last insurance pass, because now this is all going to be powdered. So I want to make sure that any creases are gone. Buff it right into here. And here's the fun part. As the kids would say, the baking. So I'm using invisible set powder, okay? It's literally exactly that. It is invisible. I have made it easier on myself by pouring it onto a plate. Pray that I do not sneeze. And I'm taking just a large powder puff. I cannot stress the importance of powder puffs enough. I really, really enjoy using them. And I'm just gonna press it in This is where it gets dirty. And if I had time, I would let this bake probably for like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of time because we're teaching a class and we want to make sure that we, you know, give you guys the time promised. But I'm just going to go ahead and pack this in. Usually I wear white when I do this, to be honest with you. When I'm doing my makeup for Halloween, I'm just in like a white t-shirt because, you know, spillage. So I'm wearing black, obviously, because, you know, I'm trying to look chic and MAC for you guys. All right, so let that sit. I'm going to let that sit. And while that's sitting and kind of doing its thing, okay, oh, a little lift, a little lift. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to let it kind of like do its thing for a minute. And while it's doing that, I'm going to jump over. And as you can see, I left a little space. Actually, I'm going to wait to do my beard. I was going to do my beard now, but I thought, you know what, let me wait. So letting that kind of sit for a minute. And while it's doing that, I'm going to take just a little spoolie and kind of brush up my 5 eyebrow hairs. Okay. And okay, poof, done. It's baked due to the magic of television. Like I said, I would wait a little longer, but because again, I don't have the luxury of time right now, which is totally fine. My trick is I'm going to actually set this with a bit of Studio Fix. Now, real talk, the color I would use is NC10 to stay pale. I could not find it for the life of me because, you know, I've only had 7 months at home to look for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a bit of C2 Studio Fix with Shivering White Studio Fix, which you will see making an appearance quite a bit through this tutorial. So I'm going to take the C2 using a large number 150 brush. And you probably want to see what I'm doing. So it's just literally loading it up on the brush. Boom, 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 boom. And then a little bit of white. And I'm going to go ahead and just set the entire thing, just so I really have that insurance. Now you're probably thinking, why not just use the white alone? Because I didn't really want to go too pale. I'm going to be using, I don't want to go too pale. Look at my neck, look at my face. You know what I mean. I have to say, because I want the Shivering White to make an appearance in a little bit to be an effective highlighter. So having a shade that's just a hint darker is going to do the trick. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves so far. And again, over the eyes a little bit more. And again, for insurance, I'm going to take some of the set powder again, and I'm going to use it with number 240 brush. I love this brush, okay? And I'm going to create, I am going to put quite a bit underneath my eyes to be my catch-all if anything falls. So for now, it's going to look a little funny, but you know what? It is what it is. So a little bit of powder there because that also will help to set under the eyes as well. And what I love about this set powder is it really, really does set your makeup. It will not move, which is incredible. So I'm gonna get started with a little bit of color now, okay? I'm gonna start with contouring a little bit over my brow and then filling my brow in. So the color that I'm gonna use for that moment is called Mint Condition, and I love this color, especially when I can find it. Here it is, Mint Condition. I love this aqua sort of color. It's so, so beautiful. And I'm taking this now with a number 224 brush, and I'm just gonna get right in here and really start to get some nice shading. Now, I'm not gonna do too much shading because of, again, time, and also too, I have a beard, so I don't really have to contour my cheeks too much. But I'm taking this color, Mint Condition, and I'm taking it right up a little over the brow to give it a little bit of a rounded kind of vibe. And using this 224 brush, it just really glides on. I always love to have a very sort of airbrushed look about my makeup and very polished. I don't really like to see where things start and stop. I like it to look like, well, an expensive doll. And I have to give a call out because one of my very dear friends, Joshua David McKinney, has an incredible doll named Pigeon that he creates. She's an art doll. And I did a live with him on Mac Pro a couple of months ago that's still up there, but his dolls are literally the most beautiful dolls I've ever seen. And I was like, I totally relate to the makeup he does on those dolls. So now I'm like kind of try to vibe on that a little bit as well. So a bit of that contour, like I said, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Again, right into this area, because it's gonna blend into my brow. So I'm just adding a bit more of that color, Mint Condition. And I think it's time to do some eyebrows, because when I'm on the internet, eyebrows, sorry, couldn't help it. Before that, a little highlight. Using a number 275 brush, I'm going to take that Shivering White Studio Fix and use that to highlight. So a bit of this under the brow to really get that, you know, packs right into that paint stick that we did. And you might still see a little bit of my natural brow, but hopefully not too much. So for me, it really is about creating the shape with light as opposed to with dark right off the bat. So a bit of that. Then I'll take a little right down the center of my nose. And right here. And so we don't have any like very, you know, so it doesn't look too stripy. What I like to do then is take my number 150 powder brush, which I was so good at putting in the bin that I couldn't find it just then, but just blend it a little bit. And so there's no hard lines. And now we're gonna do eyebrows. Okay, so the brush that I like to use for my eyebrows is the number 266. Just a really good sharp angle brush. And the color I'm going to use in my eyebrows to match and get this whole vibe going is called Triennial Wave, and this is from the Art Library palette. The Art Library, it's designer palette. And I'm so excited that you guys are all here. So now I'm going to start the brow. And what I like to do for my brows is kind of start to brush up into the brow and to really get that shape that I want. Brush up into the brow. Now it's interesting, it's so funny. I use pencil on myself every day, all right? I am definitely an Omega pencil or lingering pencil kind of guy for my everyday life. When I started working for MAC in 1993, we did not make eyebrow pencils. We just made shadow. So I've always had this sort of like affinity for using shadow in the brows. And let's face it, you know, this color is just so magical. So it's called Triennial Wave, and I'm just going now up and over to get that really beautiful, dramatic shape. Okay, it's like, I like that lift. I need it. I'll tell you. But here, and I might jump around. You know, I'm going to do my brows. I might come back to them a little bit because I'm going to do some more in there. But to really make sure it stays on, the trick for me is always sort of pressing the color into the skin. And then just getting that I mean, go big or go home. I am home, so I'm going to do both. So I'm going to go a little bit thicker underneath. And the thing about eyebrows, oh my gosh, I could like obsess on eyebrows. But I don't have the time to do that right now. And then blending up and in, and then a little thicker up here. You know, that expression, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Well, I want them to look at least like they're not second cousins twice removed, okay? So this is all gonna be blended eventually, but I'm just gonna get the shape that I want for my brows. I love, love, love eyebrows. That's where the magic happens for me. And the other side, again, blending up. The color is Triennial Wave. And I'm just blending it right in. And of course, my brows, funnily enough, are a little different. But the good news is I can kind of do whatever I want with the shape. Pressing it in. I have to say, I love, 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 love teaching master classes. And I definitely know there's at least, you know, a few people that I know who have been to my master classes, and thank you so much for joining. But I have to say, it's really a trip doing it on myself. But I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are too. It's really fun. It's very therapeutic, actually. Some of the performers that I work with, oftentimes if they do their makeup for stage, actually really, or if they're performers, they like to do their own makeup sometimes because they say it gets them in a really zen place and they kind of create the character. And I totally understand that. So again, Triennial Wave, just now it's time to go and make sure we're even. And I know this is the part I get super like particular about. I am a Virgo. And this will be, you know, living online in infamy. So I want to make sure, or infinitely, I should say. So I want to make sure everything is really good. And then just following that shape. There we go. I like where it's going. And Tiffany, you're a shadow in the brow girl too, huh? Was that you that said that? I think so. Yes. I remember when we finally came out with brow pencils, I was like, oh my gosh, this is revolutionary. And I've really adapted. And now my thing is on clients is to use pencil first and then shadow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this brow. I know, I hope it's not like watching paint dry, literally, but the fun stuff is coming. Well, it's all fun to me. All right, that's a good start for now. And then we're gonna go ahead and start to get the eyes going. So again, just blending that in. I want it to be really crisp and have a really nice shape. And I'm gonna go just a hair, no pun intended, just a hair thicker on this side. I always loved thicker brows. I find that they just, I don't know, there's something a little bit more sort of couture about them with this particular look. And then I'm gonna do, just press the shadow into my skin. There we go. Okay. I think we're in a good place. And then we're gonna move on into the crease of the eye. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back with my number 224 brush, boom, boom. And I'm going to look diligently again for my mint condition eyeshadow. Here it is. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this color and now start to get the shape that I want, the crease, because it's gonna be a very big, 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 big lid, okay? So taking that color, mint condition, and where I set the brush down first is where it's gonna be the most pigment. Brush back and forth, boom, boom, boom. I always say it's like a windshield wiper, right? So a bit more mint condition. And blending it back and forth, just get that crease. We're gonna be going up into the brow eventually with more color. Okay. And again, leaving the lids light because I like to have that big giant sort of eyelid. And blending, blending, blending. Blend is your friend. Does anybody have any questions? How's your evening going? Is it daytime where you are? Is it evening? Do you know what day of the week it is? I'm still trying to keep that, you know, keep that in track. So adding a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. I added, okay, it's hard to show on camera, but I just realized something. I didn't have my Triennial Wave comes individually as well. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing mint condition with a little bit of Triennial Wave in the palette, but I'm not that dexterous. So then I'm going to blend it right up into the brow to start to really allow that moment to happen, because I don't want it to, I want it to just blend right into the eyebrows. I love when the contour sort of comes in this area and it just brings everything together. All right, and then the other side. This is Triennial Wave now, just alone with a little bit of mint condition. So I guess it's not alone, sorry. Mint condition, Triennial Wave, and blending that in. Now let me start to work on my lids, because I want my lid to be really, really big, okay? And that is gonna take a little bit of work, but easy work. So now what I'm gonna do is switch over to a clean number 252 brush with my blush on my hand still, my arm. And I'm gonna go into my paint stick palette. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of this beautiful color, sky blue, okay, again on my hand, but mostly white. Because my lid, this isn't almost an arbitrary step, because my lid is gonna be very, very glittery, okay? So, but I want a nice base for it. So I want that really beautiful sort of sky blue color. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and press that right into my lid. Now I mixed a little more white because I thought it was just, it initially came out a little too blue. And then get right up in here and we're gonna kind of fake that giant lid moment, okay? So again, I'm mixing, sorry, it's kind of hard to see, but mixing a bit of that to get this really pretty sky blue color, adding a bit more white, and then just pressing that right in, because I'm gonna actually set that with a bit of shadow. And going all over the lid, just pressing it all in, because this is all the light part of the makeup. It's funny because some artists, which I admire, some artists start with all the dark. I actually start with the lighter colors and then I start to go into the darker, personally. Just a little easier. It's just been a really easier technique for me. And so just blending a bit more white in. And again, I'm trying to work quickly. And I've almost made this like beautiful sort of aqua color. It's really lovely. Mac Pro, at Mac, in our Pro lineup, we do make an aqua shadow, which is one of my favorites. Oh my gosh. I love using that. I've used it on many of my clients when we want that really like 60s, late 50s, early 60s, kind of that dusty blue shadow. Oh, it's just incredible. Okay, so my lids are in a good place, and now I'm gonna set them with shadow. And the shadow that I'm going to use, because I have my little cheat sheet and I want to make this easy on Tiffany. Oh, I don't think, you know what, Tiffany, I'm doing a wild card. I'm going to set that actually with a little bit of vanilla eyeshadow. Okay, I'm so sorry. I did not put that on my list, but it will all be there at the end. I'm going to use a bit of vanilla eyeshadow, which is in this palette here. And I love vanilla because it's kind of that creamy, dreamy, and it's not going to take the color away, but it just sets the shadow, sorry, the paint stick so nicely. And I'm just using it right in here again to get that really big eyelid look, because this is all going to be dark in a little bit. We're just going, plugging along. So it really is about creating with shadow and light. So using that lighter color vanilla, pressing it right into that paint stick. Great, that's exactly where I wanted it. So next we are going to do, and by we I mean me, I'm gonna actually now add the blush. So before I do that, I'm going to take my number 240S brush and brush away that powder that I had under the eyes to catch anything that might have fallen and to really set that under the eyes nicely. And what I'm going to do is then take my little blend of Studio Fix, the C2 and the Shivering White, which is really trying to create NC10. And then for blush, I like to use kind of what I call a bossy brush. I like using the number 109, okay? And I'm gonna use it, again, going same Art Library palette. This is just bright pink shadow. So I'm gonna take this and add just, oh, hello. I'm gonna add to this brush and really start to blend it into my upper cheek area. All right, to get that really sort of, you know, almost clown-like Cirque du Soleil vibe. And just build, start light and build. And I might come back to that a bit because I want it to be a little brighter at the end. And I am now, after this, I'm kind of, like I said, I jump around a little bit, so I hope I'm not making you guys dizzy, but it's just the process. So I'm gonna do some mascara, liner, and then start to really define everything. We're kind of breezing through this for me. I mean, I did a trial run. I'm not gonna, you know, I have to be honest with you guys just to make sure that I was on track. And I was like, it actually is going faster than I was at this point last time I did this. So I did say that I was doing mascara, didn't I? So I am. I'm gonna do some mascara. And the mascara, it's almost arbitrary because I am gonna be using false lashes, of course, but I just take a lash curler, full lash curler, give them a nice squeeze and little lift up so that they curl nicely. I squeeze, pump it a little bit, and then bend a little bit. And I'm going to be using In Extreme Dimension mascara, okay? I love this mascara, it's great. It's like a little cactus, it's got a little prickly tip at the very end so you can get right up into the lashes. So I'm gonna try to do this quickly. And now if, again, luxury of time, I would definitely come up and in my waterline on my upper eye with a black pencil, but I think I'm gonna skip that step for now. So I'm getting the mascara as much as I can at the root, okay? I just looked psychotic just then, but stranger things have happened. And again, I'm just giving a little wiggle and going right through. Now, again, if I had the luxury of time, I would probably wait for the coat to dry and then do 2 coats to really make sure that, you know, the reason why I like to do mascara when I'm doing false lashes is because it's a good base. It's almost like a nice little cradle, you know, for them. And yes, here we go. So then just again, blending that all in. And I'm not going to do any mascara on the bottom because, well, it's not going to make sense to this look, weirdly, believe it or not. So here we go, a little bit here too. And then just because I was working so quickly, there may or may not have been a little mascara that got on my lids. If that happens to you, don't panic. All you have to do is just take a little bit more of your lighter color. For me, again, it was vanilla, and this is all going to be covered anyway with glitter. So I'm just going to blend that in, make sure that's all gone. There we go. Okay. So this is the part that I'm not going to lie, I'm a little nervous about because I'm going to do eyeliner, black liquid liner on a live Zoom. So wish me luck. Holding my breath. You guys think good thoughts, good vibes. I'm using blush black. Sorry, I'm going to say that again. Brush black, brush stroke 24-hour liner. So I have to cheat this way. I apologize, but I'll walk you through it. So what I love about this particular formula, besides everything, is it's a brush tip. It's not a felt tip. And we really, I have to say, having the brush tip is incredible because it doesn't clog, okay? So here's what I'm gonna do in the beginning. I'm gonna give it, it's gonna be a really exaggerated line, of course. And so in order to do that, I've kind of gone up at an angle, and I have to say, unfortunately, you know, again, he's not as young as he used to be. So there may or may not be some competing skin and texture here. So what I'm going to do is let that dry. Okay. And I'm going to do the other eye. So basically just boom, and then we're going to come out at the end. But I'm going to start with this first. And here's the other fun part. I'm not left-handed, but I'm going to use my left hand, and I'm going to pray. And Tiffany, feel free to chime in if you want to chat, because I might get a little quiet here. But then again, I might not. No.
I am blown away at your ambidextrous moment here.
I mean, oh my God.
These are tricks.
Don't make me laugh because it'll look like I did this on a subway in an earthquake in the dark.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And you know what, everyone? Tiffany's chair is not squeaky. That is her delightful bird name. What's your bird's name again, Tiffany?
Cricket.
Cricket. Oh my gosh, so cute. So cute.
I do have to say the trick of mixing the mint condition with the Triennial Wave to go into your brow, that's something for Halloween, for a beauty makeup. It's something that people who love makeup and wear makeup, it really shapes your eyes so beautifully.
Thank you. I love that the trick. I like the technique, you know. And again, I could sit here and obsess on this liner shape, but I'm not going to, because, you know, sometimes you have to know when to just kind of stop. But with that being said, I'm going to go under my eye now. And this is the really, 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 really scary part for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is let that dry a little bit before I really go there. And I am going to grab my, my pencil, which is the Chromographic Pencil in NC15/NW15, I think is what it is. It wore off, I'm sorry. So what I'm gonna do is take this now, and I'm gonna create a point just to kind of get the shape that I want. And now, why am I not using white, you ask? Well, that is a very good question, because I actually didn't have Fascinating Pencil with me here, or the Chromographic white. So what I'm doing is I'm using the Chromographic Pencil that's got a little bit of a color to it. It's like a skin tone, like my skin tone, a little lighter than my skin tone actually. And I'm going to go over it with paint stick. I just needed a nice base for it to hold on to. So just blending that in. And I will be going on the inside of my waterline, but I'm going to do that at the very, 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 very end. Otherwise, you know, my eyes can get a little teary, and I don't want that to ruin any of the makeup. So blending that in. There we go. So again, Chromographic Pencil. I actually kind of like it has almost a yellow vibe to it. But what I'm going to do is take my 263 brush and go back into my my paint stick palette and grab a little bit of that white. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of that white, and right here, and just boom, boom, boom. There we go. That's the pop I wanted. Just in the inner corners. And then it just blends that pencil right in, but it gives the pencil, it gives the paint stick something to hold on to, because we all need something to hold on to in life, don't we? Right? Okay, then to get that really beautiful, I love the 60s, right? Like the 60s has always been one of my favorite decades. So I kind of do this like 60s vibe. I've always kind of done it when I do my makeup for Halloween. And I start with Triennial Wave and a number 266 brush, okay? Triennial Wave, again, the blue. And I'm gonna take this and go right underneath, pressing it into the eye. It might be a little hard to see, but I'm gonna try to make this work. Okay, so then pressing it in right under the eye, and I take it all the way up to my lash line. It's so funny. One of literally the highlights of my career was working with Cassandra Peterson, AKA Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And she said that she really doesn't let anyone do her makeup. I mean, she's so nice and so cool, but it's just her signature style. And I did a shoot with her, and the photographer wanted to do something really different with her. And she said, well, I'm totally open to doing something different, but then can we shoot me as Elvira after? And so they were like, sure, great. So I did her makeup, still keeping it very Elvira, but different enough for the different look first. And she loved it so much. She's like, I'm just going to keep this on for Elvira. And I was like, what? Oh my God. And she's like, yeah, I love it. There's a picture of it on my Instagram, and I'll probably post it again soon because it's Halloween and she is the queen of Halloween. But we were both talking about our love of 60s makeup, and she said that she actually based the character of Elvira on like Ronnie Spector from the Ronettes, which I thought was really interesting. So I'm taking this Triennial Wave underneath, pulling it up a little bit because it's going to give that really, really elongated eye. And I think I'm going to finish my eyeliner on top now that I've got a good idea of where I'm going with it. So I'm just going to take the brush stroke liner, pull it out. I love this brush. It's like having a little built-in brush. Because I usually use black track. I do black track with a number 210 brush. But today I'm like, I'm gonna do the brush stroke liner. This is gonna be much thicker, okay? I'm just getting a nice guard line down. Sorry again for the silence, but you know, eyeliner. And it's very different doing it on yourself than it is doing it on a client.
Remember to breathe.
Thank you, I forgot. Was I turning blue? No, I'm kidding. So thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for that little note. I know, exactly. I always tell people, like, what tips do you have for eyeliner? I'm like, don't drink Starbucks. That's number one. And number two, remember to breathe. So I'm coming out with this, and then as soon as I do this, I'm gonna add lashes. Then I'm gonna get into the really, really defining part of my eyes and the fun part, the glitter. So again, this is brush stroke. And I'm just blending this all in. I mean, it's literally, I mean, I could not imagine doing all these steps every single day, but my gosh, doing your own makeup is very therapeutic, I have to say. I enjoy it. And what I love about the brushstroke liner as well is it's so easy to use, but also because it is literally 24 hours, I know it's not going to move during Halloween or any day. Um, all right, so that's a good start. And then I'm gonna, zhuzh and do all that kind of stuff and, fill it in a little bit more. And time for some lashes. Okay, so the lashes that I made, I mean, I'm really going big with the lashes. Okay, so the lashes that I did, I've mixed two, and it's funny because I actually thought that I had them individually in their containers to show you, and I do. Oh my gosh, look at me coming through. I have the Opportunist lash, which are really, really long. And I've taken the Megastar lash, which I cannot find right now, but it's online. And it's also the lash that Romero and I created with Marina from Product Development. It was really exciting. So I've actually made a stacked lash. And what I'm going to do is I took two of the Megastar lashes, okay? Here, let's see. Two of the Megastar lashes for the ends, because I like my eyes to really go up at the end. So what I'm going to do is take some Duo. I use the dry black because, black liner. And everyone will tell you something different when it comes to false lashes. They'll say like, oh, wait 30 seconds for it to dry. I literally usually wait a full maybe 2 minutes, minute or two. Sorry, I know I'm doing black on black, but you guys know just a little strip. Little more in the corners. I'm going to let that sit. I'm going to do the other lash. Let that sit for a minute. And I totally look like, I look, looking at myself, I kind of remind myself of Endora from Bewitched, who's literally one of my favorite makeup heroes ever. I loved watching that show as a kid and as an adult, but Endora, her makeup was goals, okay? So I'm going to let that sit. And while that's sitting, because I need to let that sit for a second, I can keep working. I'm going to take a number 275 brush again. Okay, it's this guy. And now I'm going to take some Triennial Wave again and really get it into the crease. Okay, this is where we start to really create that shape. Boom. And I love this brush because it's wide enough to really get that shape. And now there's the lid I've always dreamed of, okay, so far. And again, I just press the color in, Triennial Wave, blending that all in. And I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to blend it up into my brow because I want that all to kind of come together like the Beatles. And here we go, other side. Triennial Wave, pressing it right into the deeper crease to get that really beautiful glam dandy look. This is also a technique. If I'm working with a client, we're doing like a 60s look, I always use this brush. Do you see me stopping and looking because I just want to make sure we're even. Blending that in. And it doesn't have to be insanely blended because you want it to look like, a really deliberate lid, for lack of a better. And then blending that up into here. And then what I like to do is take a little bit more of that mint condition and just barely blend out the edge so that there's no hard line. I mean, I did say you didn't have to blend it, but I thought, I could use just a little bit. It just softens it a little bit, but it still has that great shape. Again, mint condition. And just to make sure that we still have that strength, adding a little more here. Time to put on lashes. I almost forgot. I got so into that crease. So they're ready to go. Again, need to turn this way a little. And we have made contact. Now, I will say, I usually have the luxury of a handy pair of tweezers, but I did not I forgot to bring them over here. However, that's okay. So there's one lash. Let's do the other lash. And I have to say, waiting for it to dry really helps. A little bit, not dry completely, because when they're too wet, they just slide all over the place. There we go. So the lashes are on. And as soon as that dries a little bit more, I'm gonna go over one more pass with the liner and then glitter, the fun part. Before that happens, I just, like, sometimes I'll check in the mirror and see where we are and with powder. And I'm gonna add a little bit of the Studio Fix mix, the Studio Mix, I guess. A little more shivering white. So I'm adding that C2 and then one little drop of shivering white to brighten up the area a little bit. And then
Gregory, quick question.
Yes, I have a quick answer.
I have your lashes, but you said a different lash than you used. I have Megastar and Maximalist, but you said something.
I said Opportunist. I'm so sorry.
Opportunist.
You know
so
what?
It's the Megastar and the Opportunist, right?
It is the Maximalist lash. I said Opportunist on accident. It's
okay.
Maximalist. Thank you, Tiffany, for the win. Maximalist and the Megastar. Sorry about that, guys. Now I'm just going a little thicker with the liner. Sorry, I grabbed the other one. I grabbed the Dual Dare one, but I meant to grab the brush black. There we go. So now that I have the lash on, I can go a little thicker with the line to align, pardon the pun, and then I'll do it on the other eye too. Just a little thicker. And of course, because I'm doing a live masterclass, the garbage truck's outside. I mean, who even does garbage trucks at 5 o'clock? So then a little more on the inner here. Now this is the scary part for me, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna now connect with black. So just take the points. And it just crisps up the line. This is definitely my homage to Edie Sedgwick, Elvira again, I love. And then if I have time at the end, I'll probably go a little thicker there, but in the interest of time, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring this home. Pop on some glitter, do a lip, a hint of a costume change. There we go. So again, the brush stroke liner, and I will take a photograph of this and post it on my Instagram after so you guys can get a closer, more detailed look. Is everyone enjoying themselves? It's so weird not to hear people talk back and let me know if they're having a good time or not.
Everybody's having a great time. We've got a question
about
eyeliner. How can we do a perfect winged eyeliner for our eye shape? Any tips?
Ooh, that is a good question. Tiffany, do you want to start answering that and I'll jump in too, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Tiffany, by the way, is a global senior artist and she's one of the best makeup artists in the biz.
I don't know about all that, but I do love myself some eyeliner. I think what Gregory has shown us is if you just start really close to your lash, get that density of black, get it where it needs to be, let it dry, and then start adding layer by layer to get the size and the shape that you want. When it comes to the wing, what I generally do, and I think Gregory would agree with me, is follow your eye shape, your eye line. So if I want to go really 60s, I go with my bottom eyelashes and I go up from there. If I want to go really 80s and do that little flick I tend to
that.
go up from my eyelashes on top. But it's just a matter of knowing the shape that you want and really get to know your product.
Tiffany, I could not have said that better myself. And the good news is there's so much online right now with respect to tutorials, and you can like actually see people with your own eye shape online and doing makeup techniques, and it's really, really informative. I can't stress the importance of that enough. Now, as you can see, I'm just crisping up under the brow a little bit more. And then I need to do a little highlight under my brows. So I'm going to use here it is, sorry, hi. One of our new palettes from the holiday collection that we just launched. I'm in love with this color, and the highlighter color is called, and I know I have it down on my list, it is called Glitzed Out, okay? It's this color, this really beautiful, very white highlighter. And I'm gonna use it with a number 242 brush, little under the brow, boom, boom, boom. Bring a nice little shine. And then it's time for glitter. You guys, this is my favorite part. I have to say, I love, 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 love glitter. People always go, what's your favorite color? And I say glitter. Because it is. So before I do that, I'm going to take now a bit of the Shivering White Studio Fix with a number 266 brush and do a nice little crisp underneath moment, and that makes the line look even sharper, gives you that nice differentiation. And it really does. And I might even go a little bit more with the blue underneath after. But again, interest of time. It's funny because I'm trying to show you guys like the basics. I know it sounds funny with this look, right? So basic. But all the little details that come in after are really sort of where the magic happens, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then also I can take a bit of Shivering White Studio Fix and just pop it right in there. And then when I put the lighter on the inside, you'll really see that whole thing come together. Great. Easy. Love Shivering White. This literally, I've used it so much in my career since it came out. I'm sure Tiffany would say the same. So as promised, glitter. And the way that I like to apply glitter is by using a bit of our Dazzle Shadow liquid. And of course, you see me looking all around because I think the one that I really wanted rolled off my desk. Isn't that fun? So you know what? We're going to improvise. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to use Diamond Crumbles because it's here. And I'm also going to use a little bit of our eyelash mixing medium, eyeliner mixing medium, I'm sorry. And oh, lo and behold, there's the one I wanted. This is called Flash and Awe, okay? So even though this is all very, very blue, I'm gonna do a layer of gold with this to adhere, just a little sheer layer of gold. And I pre-mixed my glitters because I like to be as prepped as possible. So while that's still wet, I'm holding my eyelids up as much as possible. While that, I love using Dazzle Shadow liquids as a base and an adherent for glitter. I mean, it's really, truly magical. And I like that there's little flecks of gold in here. And while that's sitting there, I'm gonna take a little bit more under the back of my hand, okay? And I've pre-mixed some glitters. The colors that I've mixed up together are, where'd it go? Reflex Turquoise and Reflex Gold with a bit of turquoise, which is like this really beautiful color. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it right now. So I take it with a 242 brush, dip it, and just pack it on. Like, don't be shy. And this is the fun part. I love when the glitter goes on, except for when it goes on my floor. So getting that glitter, I don't know if you guys can see that well or not, or as well as I hope you can. It's very dazzling here in my office space. And I just love, I mean, glitter, it just makes everything look so good and so perfect as much as possible. So I'm adding a bit more Dazzle Shadow liquid. Again, the color that I'm using is called Flash and Awe, which is a really beautiful gold, with a number 242 brush, dipping it into the glitter. Actually, I usually use it from the lid, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use it from here. And just pack it on. So I like when I see different colors of glitter sort of weaving in and out of each other. When I work on clients who love glitter, and I do have a lot that love glitter, I like to kind of do a blend of like gold and silver and blue and, you know, just really mix it up a little bit so it's more three-dimensional as opposed to just some solid color. All right, my eyes are almost done, believe it or not. And a little bit more on the inner here. And then I'm gonna torture myself now a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a bit of the Chromographic Pencil on my waterline. And I say I'm torturing myself because it just doesn't agree with my eyes oftentimes. But you know, I think I couldn't find it. Here it is. Okay, hi guys, I'm back. Okay, so I'm gonna do the Chromographic Pencil right on the waterline, making a really, really ugly face, but you can see that it just makes the eye pop even more. And I love this technique. Now, again, if I had time, I might even do, if I'm really danding it up, I might do lashes on the bottom, but I have something else in mind. Like false lashes on the bottom, that is. Okay, so let's move on. I'm gonna give my eyes a little break. And I'm gonna move on to some lips. Really, really exciting. So this part is really, really interesting because I like to make my lips look a little petite when I'm doing my makeup for this particular look. Like I've always loved that sort of like Carnival in Venice, and I'm not talking Venice Beach, but that like sort of Venetian Italian mask sort of look. And I like with the lips are really, really rounded and really tiny. So I'm gonna take my Studio Fix blend and go over my mouth. And it's gonna be a little tricky for me to talk. So why don't you just hold virtual hands and sing some Kumbaya, which is fun. Or Tiffany, I have an idea. Why don't you jump in and talk to us?
I'm here for you.
I love it.
So you're using Night Moth pencil.
Don't make me laugh, Tiffany.
So just so you guys know, Night Moth is, it's one of our deepest shades. It's a very cool, deep wine color. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have as much red as it has more purple in it, as say opposed to Currant or, mm-hmm. you know, it's not as brown as Chestnut, it's more purple. So it gives you that punch of color without being neutral. And mm-hmm. Gregory already, I've worked with Gregory for 25 years. And I will tell you, I understand this lip because we went over it the other day, and we went through a whole metamorphosis of how to describe it, because it is very 1920s, mm-hmm. But it has a little bit more of a 1930s sexy shape to it, where it's fuller than the like 1920s were very pursed. Mm-hmm. 1930s was a little bit fuller, so he's kind of mixing his decades. Mm-hmm. But he's really going to work on giving himself that full pout on the bottom with that definite shape on top.
Mm-hmm. Hey, honey, I couldn't say it better. It's like being at the dentist. Like, tell me all about fourth grade. Well,
I love it.
uh-huh.
What did you write your history paper on?
Oh my gosh, I am gonna get the giggles. Thank you. That was a perfect description. So, as you can see, it's this little sort of petite mouth. It's not for big smiles. And in order to really sell it, I blend that in. And then, I mean, this is kind of arbitrary. I fill it in a little bit with the pencil in case, you know, at night it starts to go away. This is a good tip for lips anyway. Because if you eat your lipstick off, there's something left. Did you understand that?
It was perfectly clear.
Oh, great. All right, great. Okay, so then the lipstick that I'm going to use, I'm mixing two colors. So the first one I love, well, I love both of them. High Drama Retro Matte Liquid Lipstick. Let me tell you something about this formula. It will not budge. It stays on all night. And it's exactly the color of Night Moth, pretty much, which I love. And blending that all in. And what I love about it, it dries really matte. And there we go. Sometimes I'll use a lip brush. Not today. Oh my God. I like literally talking with my mouth open. Well, that's what most people do. I guess they do talk with their mouth open. I have no idea what that meant, but just work with me here, everyone. I am now going to go back into my Night Moth pencil. There it is. I'm so organized that I can't find anything, okay? It's kind of funny. A little bit more. And then if you really want to perfect it, this is where a lip brush can come in handy. And I am going to take a little lip brush. And the lip brush that I love is the number 231, which is this guy. I love this brush because it's kind of square. And get that little area. Now, if you're like me and really matte lipsticks can feel a little dry sometimes, even though they're moisturizing, I'm going to go over it with a bit of Powder Kiss liquid lipstick, which is a newer formula for us that I absolutely love. And the color that I'm using is called Burning Love, because it'll get all that interior area too. There we go. And to really make the lip look crisp, I'm going to take a clean number 266 Shivering White Studio Fix and go around the edge. And blend that in. Just to make it pop a little bit more. And I do this trick a lot. Like if I'm doing someone with a red lip, which is often, I'll take Studio Fix around the edges of the lips to really make the lips pop. And I could do a little more fine tuning on that, and I will. But for now, let me color my beard, the fun part. So this is actually really fast, believe it or not, okay? So to color my beard, I'm gonna use Marine Ultra paint stick and a number 190 foundation brush. And just take this brush and just paint. And I bring it all the way up into my hairline so it meets. It's so fast and easy. And I'm not gonna do too much back there because I'm just looking at you guys. So this is where we line it up. And I want to draw attention to Romero Jennings, who of course is a director of makeup artistry for MAC based out of New York, and my self-proclaimed brother in glam. We actually just shot and edited a video, which we're going to be posting in the next couple days, of using MAC Pro acrylic to paint our entire faces. It was amazing. It is so cool. So again, Marine Ultra, just going around the edges. And I'm trying to go as quick as I can, quickly as possible. As you can see, I'm not far from being done. And just blending that in. Again, Marine Ultra. And I'll get in here with a smaller brush too. Now, ladies, you can paint a beard on. It would be kind of chic to do the shape using this paint stick palette. The world is your oyster. I've always wondered, what is the world to an oyster? I digress. Here we go. Blend, blend, blend. And again, just in the interest of time, I'm not going to do too much on the bottom, but you get the idea. I love this. It's just so transformative. And blending that up into here. And again, I'm going to go around my hairline a little bit with the Marine Ultra as well. Like all those little details, don't forget those details, because you get photographed, you start to see that kind of stuff pop through. You don't want that. Blending that in. Anyone have any questions so far? Any more questions or anything?
There was a question that came in from Hallie.
Hallie.
She wanted to know, what would you suggest to color eyebrows that are really dark, that are black? I told her to lighten them with concealer and foundation, but there's some color correction that obviously needs to happen in there.
I like that idea. I would probably offer the same suggestion, for sure. Sometimes I'll even use an almost black pencil, believe it or not. Like I love Stud eyebrow pencil, and then go over it with a bit of shadow, like a dark brown. But I like the idea, Tiffany, of a little color correction, you know, lightening up a little bit.
I think she was talking about like how to change her brow color from black to something else.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I see. Yes, definitely concealer. I mean, that really does make such a big difference. I mean, it lightens it up. That's a really good call out for sure. Definitely. And then I'm just taking a little bit of the Marine Ultra and just kind of merging it into the foundation a little bit more. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this right now in the interest of time, but I'm going to leave it kind of, I see one little area. It's going to make me crazy. You guys, a Virgo, it's my blessing and curse, but more of a blessing. And then just to make the eyes, because, you know, they're just so subtle right now. I'm going to take a bit of Greystone eyeshadow, which is this color up in here in my palette. We also sell it individually now. Greystone is like an iconic MAC eyeshadow, one of my absolute favorites. And I'm going to take a little bit of that and just get a little darker in here in the corners to make the eyes stand out even more. And Tiffany, do you remember when was Greystone out when you started MAC, or was it a newer color?
Greystone came out, I believe, a year after I started.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? That's unbelievable. Tiffany, what year did you start MAC?
94.
94?
Yeah.
Oh, you were really just a year after me. Oh
It was
gosh,
late, very, very
so
late in 94. And then I became full-time in 95.
Oh my gosh. And what was your starting position at MAC?
I was a technical artist.
So was I. So was I. That's amazing. And you traveled around to all the different locations, right?
Yeah, I got to live in Seattle for a month, maybe, in corporate housing while just doing training. I was like, really? People pay you to do this? This is amazing.
And that was me in San Francisco, which is where we met.
Yes, and you were the first person to do my makeup other than my mother.
Oh, I remember you telling me that. It's such an honor. Oh my gosh. I still have that Polaroid. You guys, I have a Polaroid of Tiffany Johnston when we came out with Mystic eyeshadow, which was a red. And now we have Work, Work, Work.
And CB96 lipstick.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now everyone, here's one of the two magical parts, okay? The glitter beard. Okay, here's how I do it. I go old school. I use a puff, as you can see, I've used it, and I have a big plate of glitter that is a blend of craft glitter, like from the craft store, turquoise, which is on my eyes, turquoise glitter, cerulean glitter, and a little bit of gold. So there's a lot. And how I do it is it's real advanced, everyone. I use hairspray, okay? I also have to say, you know what? I actually might try this instead, because I've done this too. Gel mixing medium, or no, I'm gonna do hairspray. I'm gonna do hairspray. I love gel mixing medium, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna use hairspray, and all I do is I spray it on a puff. A lot of hairspray. Go right in here, hold it underneath, and just pack it in. The glitter beard, I love the glitter beard. This is my favorite part. And it just stays with all that hairspray, and it sticks right to that paint stick. I mean, hello, right? Subtle. I'm gonna go to the grocery store right after this. A little bit more spray. How exciting. Frances Fraser's here. Oh my gosh. Hi, Frances. I'm so happy to virtually see you here. Thank you for joining. Oh my gosh. So many great people. Hi. Oh, and thank you, Joseph, for saying that. How cool is a glitter beard? And I can fine tune all that stuff. As you can see, I also put a little makeup in my part. And here. Just to go around, get all that good stuff.
Gregory, you are getting all the love right now.
Glitter makes glitter literally or glitterally is the showstopper, isn't it? I tell you. And I always do like it's funny because when I was thinking about doing this look, sometimes I do a very thin eyebrow too, and I thought I'm gonna stick to my eyebrow shape and do like an elevated version of how I would want to look every day if I could. And then sort of coming back to the eyes one last time, adding a little bit more Triennial Wave into the brow just to get a little more oomph in here. I don't mind going too dark in there. It's not a bad thing. And then a little in here, and then it's time for the adornment. So, like I said, I'm doing like a very abbreviated version of Halloween, right? And I am going to take now part of my costume, a little costume change. My boyfriend, John, makes the most beautiful neck pieces. And so, and of course, I love bugs. So I would put on something like this to go with this whole vibe. And Sarah Lindsay, hi. I knew you were going to be here. I think I said hi earlier. I'm not sure because I have no memory anymore because, you know, turning 26 and all. But I love that. She loves my puns, literally. So I put my little collar up. Okay. And I thought, you know, let's get a jacket that matches the beard because that's something I always try to think about in my life. So I'm going to put this jacket on. Here we go. And now it's time to adorn my face even more. Okay, come up a little higher. So I love, I have to say, oh, it fell on the ground. I knew it. That's where it went. Okay. I love face jewels. You can get them like on Amazon for close to nothing. And I thought this would be the perfect one today. So I'm going to just peel it right off. Take a drop of adhesive, just a drop, and put it right onto it and just stick it right onto the face. It already comes pretty sticky, but I'm thinking, should I go up? Yeah, up is good. I like that. Let's go up today. So I'm going to look this way. A little facial jewel, Glam Dandy. Oh, there we go. And then there are two little lovely teardrops, which I'm going to use under my eyes, but not with the black. I opened the wrong one. Little duo, we're almost done. You guys, thank you so much for taking time to spend time with me today. I know you guys, I'm sure that there's a lot going on, but especially right now, what better way to spend our time than educating ourselves? And I hope you guys learned a little something today, at least one thing, I hope. And then a little one under here. And this just, I mean, again, glitter makes everything sort of come together. And this is literally kind of my signature look. I love anything in this kind of vibe. There we go. And then for the final hurrah. Okay, hurrah, hurrah. I'm going to take a little bit of the paint stick again. Let me find the right brush. Here we go. Almost done, you guys. Oh my goodness gracious. A little Marine Ultra. And go around my wave a little bit here. There we go. And just make it look a little more exaggerated. And I'm going to play around with that a little bit more after for the picture. But I am literally almost, or again, should I say literally almost done. I mean, if I put any more makeup on, I think I might fall forward. So I am going to end on this note, I believe. Et voila, done. Any other questions, you guys? I mean, I really am ready to, you know, just go take a jog. Thank you. And of course, I'm keeping my face really still. I don't think I put enough glue on this, but you get the idea. I think if I were to do any tweaks to this, believe it or not, I would go even thicker with the line, which I might, and kind of play around with the lip a little bit more. But I just want to say thank you all so much on behalf of MAC Pro and MAC Cosmetics. Thank you for your time, and have a very glam Halloween. Whatever you're doing, have fun and be safe. Thank you, guys.